Here we go again. How are you now? There's a lot of crows. I'm gonna back right into this. You can see the moon's still pretty full. Who are we today? The birds are going nuts. There's still a lot of them in these trees, so they're probably gonna freak out when I walk in. Nothing like a morning nature walk, especially when you haven't gone to sleep. Sometimes the human body can run off of the energy of the spirit alone. Good friends and good times can keep us awake through anything. Through the hunger, through the thirst, through the fatigue. There's a magic. So, here I am, 6 a.m. in the forest. My cup is full. The world is a very beautiful place. It can be all sorts of things, but it is miraculous that everything can work together, that there's such a variety of life. This is insane, the amount of crows there are. I mean, it's been like this for weeks. Jump, and the net will appear. Seek, and you may find. Ask, and you may receive. It's like sometimes you just get that feeling inside. You're like, oh, I need to go outside. Like something in me, I gotta go outside right now. Maybe there are moments, inside of you that are connected to the outside that tell you exactly when to go out to experience that magical moment, that ridiculous moment that you never thought possible, where paths converge. We play a great responsibility in this world, in the lives of others. They may not remember what we say. They may not remember what we do, but they will always remember how we make them feel. To develop a sense of space with someone is a very beautiful thing. It can be as personal as you want it to be. And this is something too, but not just to create that space, like an orb around you, which you can let other people in and not, but to develop this space, to have something consistent to both call home, or to all call home. Some sort of a baseline metaphysical structure that's mutually understood. Christianity, in the face of such complex criticism as it has faced in the last several centuries, can no longer be this childish articulation of God. this simple thing. We are asked many questions, and some of them require quite a bit of thought. There's so much deception in the world, and there is so much truth. Why is it that there are protective layers around what is true? Why is it that we feel we must defend ourselves from the writhing, the withdrawal, even just the emotions? Why do we feel so predetermined sometimes, when other times we can become more conscious, become more willing? And what is it that finally wakes us up from that slumber of automaton life? I've been awake again. Obviously sleeping at night, except for last night. I'll go to bed eventually today. But I've been awake again for a few weeks, seeing things very clearly, trying my best to not get too excited as to burn out, to lose my sense of what's real, of what's important. With these videos, I've been trying to align myself every day just with something greater, something within that knows the way. For it was written in men's hearts long before any good book. I think it might even say that right in the Bible. And that's to say that we know when we have a sense of good and evil. And it's very easy to see what is painful as evil, or what gives pleasure as good. And this is just one of the many deceptions. Look at this. Sometimes you just arrive at the perfect time. Not a soul here. The sun will rise behind me. And there's the full moon over there. The sun will rise over there. Full moon other side, wherever it is. Go outside. Like, if you haven't honestly gone outside for a while, you should make it a habit. Especially if you live in a four-season type place like I do. Everything here is like seeing it for the first time right now. The layers of frost give somewhat of a charm to, the hibernating deciduous trees, which look, pretty menacing in of themselves. something very beautiful about the snow at first. It marks a very important time, I guess, in the history of my people. This is where people had to band together. They had to plan for a very harsh season, one which people couldn't just plainly be outside. We often forget how lucky we are to have what we have in terms of shelter and heating. Because before, I imagine people used a lot of fires and hearths. And that was probably a central survival point, was the fire in the center of every home. I think that there were certain people in Europe that would bury their entire families underneath the center of the hearth, like generation after generation. And so you can imagine the flicker of the flame playing tricks on your eyes, your mind at play with the universe, the spirit realm at large. You may catch a glimpse of someone from your distant past in a fire like that. What has replaced the fire as the center of every living room? A television. A laptop. A phone. It's even more personal now. Like a television in every living room, or like a personal computer in every pocket. Our attention is drawn away from such majesty this earth has to offer. So we should always be sure to turn off our devices for large portions of the day, become completely enthralled in the embrace of nature. Whether welcoming like a fruitful summer or harvest season, or harsh and punishing, bracing, like the winter that will come on stronger and stronger as the season progresses. I think that winters create very strong family bonds, because without those bonds, people will perish in the winter. It requires so much planning if you were to live off the land in the winter. That's why a lot of homeless people move to the coast, like LA. You know, it's warm enough all year round. You don't freeze to death. But what I notice in Woodstock, when I go around, you know, the last couple nights, is there's hardly any homeless people to be seen. Whereas it was quite poppin' for the homeless population over the summer. So I wonder where they've all gone. Hopefully they're all safe and sheltered, and should never look down on them, because we know we might just be a few steps away ourselves, and maybe we have lines in the sand, and maybe that's a good thing. But you should be very clear what those lines are. Have a great day. That's everything.